Hello and welcome back to the 25th episode of the Tower Sports Advising Podcast. Today's topic is going to be the 10 most searched YouTube topics in baseball recruiting. So that's either parents, either athletes, maybe coaches, anybody, just kind of going through YouTube and essentially pulling what the top 10 most searched things is on YouTube. So the first topic is number 10. So we'll go 10 to 1, obviously. Here, 10 will be what level of college baseball can you play?
We're letting robots depict what level a human can play. Had to make that joke. No, I think I like this one because it's just like kind of what we talk about, right? Like we always say, go look at people's websites and see if you fit the mold, you fit their size or recruiting, stuff like that. But I think when people, I'm assuming here, but when people send that, they put it into Google or ChatGPT, anything, I'm assuming they're like, let's just throw out some numbers and see what happens, right? It's just kind of the old saying, throw paint at a wall and see what sticks. And I think it's more just people are trying to get a better understanding of who does what at what level and if I potentially fit that mold, right? It's all a numbers game at the end of the day. So I think a lot of people are just trying to see if they fit one of these molds. And I'm assuming they're probably going to get a little bit excited if, hey, I'm 6'2", 240. I'm a good sized body for D1, but then it'll read, oh, if you're not 90 plus, you can't play D1 baseball, and it might hinder their thought process of things like that. So it's a good question. I think it's a very broad questions. You're not really narrowing down much. You're just kind of shooting for the moon and hoping it gives you the answer you want to see.
I mean, it's almost like for me for this question, it's like I did. I went to ChatGPT and just searched, like, give me the top 10, right? But it's almost like you put your player profile into ChatGPT and see what it says, right? Like I'm 6'2", 140. What college can I play at? And I'm a outfielder 2027, right? But it's like I think a lot of what level of baseball you can play at. I mean, you as the athlete play travel ball, you play high school, you may play Legion, club, town, whatever it is, right? Everyone's story is different, but it's like you can kind of see the mold of what people are recruiting by just the kids you play next to. So if you have a team of 14 kids and you're 2027s and juniors, and 3 have already committed to Division 1 and you don't look like that, well, hey, maybe you're the D2, D3 mold. But in today's world, that doesn't mean you can't be the D1 mold because who knows what their roster looks like in 6 months. So there are opportunities again at different times of the year. And that kind of goes obviously into question number 9 is recruiting timeline by graduation year. I think for us, like we're used to a junior year fall. D1s are offering, throwing their money out, maybe picking up roster spot guys, depending on what it is, right? And obviously with academic value included in that roster spot. And then as you get in later into the summer, the D1s, D2s, they're still into that. And then when you get to fall, that was primarily D3 recruiting. Now, I think the only one that's kind of true to the most part is D3 is still, I would say in my mind, the fall, correct?
Yeah, I would say it's probably fall your senior year because you think about it, right? D1s, D2s throwing money at you right away. D3 isn't throwing anything but academic money. So you're not signing anything to go there. So I think the one true thing is it's been D3. It's usually your senior fall because it's kind of those kids that didn't get that initial love, or maybe they didn't like that scholarship they got offered or got it got given to a transfer instead of honored potentially to you. And a D3's timeline is still the same. It's, hey, that kid didn't get the offer he thought he wanted. Hey, I'll give him a call in September going into his senior year, see what his thoughts, if he wants to wait, if he wants to commit, see if he's even thinking about D3. JUCO, for me, I can't say much about it. I think that's probably the most random. Who's our favorite Hudson Valley guy? He goes, we can recruit you at 12 years old, right? Yeah.
Why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah, but he says it. He's like, we can recruit you at 12 because there aren't, kind of joking, there aren't any rules. But D1, D2, obviously, there's that timeline, right? There's that frame of
It's Coach Perro.
Coach Barrow. And D1, D2, right? Like you have your quiet hours, your non-quiet hours, things like that. But then at D3, it's you could talk to him anytime you really want to. So, but again, that timeline D3, you see it rarely. It doesn't happen all too often, but majority of the time a D3 kid isn't committing his junior year. He's usually committing his senior year. or senior fall, or even late senior spring, right?
I think the only thing that's kind of changed with that from what we see now is like you'll see for us, like obviously we always say the Endicott's, the Salves, the Easterns, those schools. I feel like those guys have kind of trickled into the end of summer almost, where like the guys that are essentially ranked, where like if we go back a couple years ago, I would mostly say most of those coaches aren't wasting their time because you're still in that D1 to D2 range. But I think now kids are okay with settling like, all right, we're into summer. I really haven't gotten any love that I thought I'd get, but hey, maybe Eastern's really high on me. And I can commit there, kind of find that void that I need to fill of like, all right, well, all my friends are committed. Like I kind of want to commit. I think I'm ready. I think this is a good spot for me. Whereas back in the day, I don't think, I mean, I'm not going to say 100%, but I don't think that would have happened as often as it does now. And I honestly think it's good because it gives kids like that fulfillment of I've committed, right? And now I can go play that fall of my senior year, and it's not like every at bat's a worry, or every ground ball is a worry, or every showcase I go to is like I still don't have a home, and then every kid I play travel ball with's got a home. So I think it has helped in different instances, but I also think it's made it where D1, D2, D3, it's all over the place. And I think that's kind of like the fun of what we do is like, all right, maybe I got a guy that hits a growth spurt senior year and he's up to 88, 89, and his best option as a junior was maybe a D3 school. But now maybe, I don't know, a St. A's or a Pierce or a,
With
I don't
Snoop
even,
and
yeah, Snoo or somebody like that hops on him at like the last second and throws him some money. And he's like, I never thought I'd be in this situation. So I think it's kind of both, right? I don't think there really is a recruiting timeline. I think what we're kind of moving into is 2027. If you're a 2027, this year's your year. If you're a 2028, next year's your year. And it's the you'll find the different guys that are like, I strictly recruit this, and this is what I'm doing for 6 months. And then you'll get guys that maybe at the D2 level are like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And if I don't find it, I don't care if it takes me till their fall of senior year.
yeah, I think to kind of go into what we were touching on with the quiet period, I feel like everything falls into windows now. Like it's like, hey, we're going to recruit or senior fall, right? But then, hey, the winter hits, portal guys, right? And then, hey, season starts back on high school guys, right? Like I think you see a lot of opportunity is based on windows, and obviously D3 doesn't have a quiet period, but it seems like that's kind of how it is, right? Like you hit the end of the college season, most coaches, what are they focusing on? Portal guys. And then for those 2 weeks when you hit the portal heavy and then it kind of dies down, what are they back focused on? High school kids, summer ball, right? Like I think we've gone away. The portal has done great. And I think that's what's changed the mindset is like, hey, I'm going to go chase portal guys for a month, right? Give that up and then go get my high school guys, right? So like you might see a lot of love based on different months of the year. And it's truly based on when this fall semester ends, when the spring semester begins, when the season's over, and once that portal finally hits that 2-3 week maturation period.
Agree. All right. Number 8. I mean, this is a massive debate in youth baseball today is travel baseball versus high school baseball for recruiting. And I think you
I'll
want to go?
say it real quick before you go. If you're good enough, they'll find you. I'll touch on that after you, but you can take it away. But that's how I feel about it.
I think obviously we kind of have both sides of this, right? So high school here, travel ball here. But I think there isn't a real formula. Like I'm sure there's a ton of college coaches that say, hey, I'm too busy during the season. I can't get out to see you, right? So I'll come watch you this summer. I know there's some guys that we have that's kind of how it is, but there's also the opposite. Like when people, meaning people, not college coaches, meaning just everyday people are like, yeah, your high school stats don't really matter. And like we had Chamberlain on the podcast and he was talking about like he played in the Shoreline Conference and when he played, it wasn't good. Like there wasn't good competition. But like the stats are the stats, whether they want to look at them or not, they're still stats. So if
Mhm.
you hit 250 and you're still going to play college baseball, did the stats really matter? Probably not. But if you hit 410 and let's just say for us in Connecticut, I'll take Central, for example, right? And then they find wind of this kid. He's like, oh, he's in the paper. He's got 10 bombs on the year and it's like 3/4 of the way through the season. They're like, hey, maybe I need to go watch this guy. And I think that part right there is like high school still does matter. I think travel ball has just become the stigma of once you're 17 or 16 and you're in that recruiting year, it's like it's go time. So I think there isn't like a fine line of which is better. I do think you're going to get opportunities in high school, obviously, to play, but like travel ball is paid for. So you're going to get opportunities no matter what. So I think that's more of the question of like, are you getting opportunities because you paid to play, or are you getting opportunities because you're in front of schools at high level competition, or you're at this showcase, like use the Boston Invite, for example. My team's in it this summer. There's 11 teams. And the teams from our area that are in it, like I either knew them growing up or I know who runs their organization now. So it's like you're guaranteed to be in those 11 teams that you play. Maybe you play 6 games, 5 games, whatever it is. You're gonna face dudes. You're not just gonna go out there and it's gonna be your normal perfect game, pay to play type event where it's 60 teams and 10 of them might be good. And I think that's kind of what dwindled down travel baseball, right? Is anyone can make a team, anyone can do this. And that, hey, that's nothing against you, right? People love the game, people want to be involved. I understand. But like if you can't compete at those levels, and there's reasons why Perfect Game and all these different events have made it where you have to have a certain caliber ranking essentially to get into some of these tournaments, because then it becomes what anyone can play. And I don't knock them for doing it, but that's when it becomes all right. Well, this team had a 500 record last year. Do we really want them in this tournament? Or hey, we can take this team that's pretty much returning the whole team. Maybe they lost their guy or two and pick the one up, but they got an 800 record from last year, and I can only imagine that team's going to get better.
To be honest with you, for me, you want to know the main difference of travel ball in high school? Has nothing to do with the players or you yourself as a player. It has every opportunity for coaches to see more than one player at an event. You go to a high school game, right? You see one kid, maybe he plays that lower level team, right? He dominates. He only got to see that kid. Coaches got to fill out a 50-man roster, or how many? I know it changes every year. But like, as you said, the Boston Open, right? It's at NEBC. They got 3 fields, right? You can bounce. Yeah, coaches, I did it. I know coaches do it all the time. They're going to see 8 to 15 games in a day because they can just keep rotating fields, right? So like that's what I think is the difference of travel ball and high school ball is compared to a coach going to see one team play or 15 teams. What are you going to see? It's a numbers game, right? They're going to go see those 15 teams play because you're going to see if they have 15 kids, right? You get a ton more kids you get to see compared to the 30 kids you get to see when you watch a high school game, right? It has nothing to do with the play or anything like that, but it's just a numbers game. So when you're going to these events, Diamond Nation, right? Baseball Heaven, they have 8 fields? However many. What do coaches do? They wake up at 7 in the morning. They see the 8 o'clock game. They don't leave until 8 o'clock, and they see 40 teams playing a day. I think that's the beauty of AAU baseball is coaches can see as many kids as they want. And that's the thing is like, I feel like the diamond and the rough kid doesn't exist anymore because at some point in time, a coach is going to come across you because there's so many people at so many fields. Because at least one of these tournaments you're going to play at, they have 5+ fields. There's going to be a coach at your field, right? But in high school, you might never see a college coach come to your game because it's just the lay of the land, right? Like high schools,
But that's okay.
that's okay,
Right.
right? But the high school kid might get beat up because, hey, I just asked this coach to come. He said he can't. Do you know that they probably just had 5 games? They also have families outside of this, right? Like you got to go home, see the wife, the kids, the dog, right? You got to do all that type of stuff. So what are they going to do? Go see one high school game or, hey, the season's over. All they're doing is recruiting. They're going to go watch 15 teams playing a day, right? That is the one big thing. It has nothing to do with the player himself because he can't change that. It's just how recruiting has become because I know when you were in high school and AAU wasn't that big, you would go play at like a high school field and there'd be coaches there because the tournaments were all high school fields. Now we have all these complexes and it's great for coaching because a ton more kids get recruited, but it has dwindled down high school because why would I go watch a high school game? It doesn't make any sense, right? You're not going to get as many kids as you can see. If you're trying to be efficient, you're not going to see as many kids as you want to. And again, has nothing to do with the player, has everything to do with the coach's time and his ability to.
I think the important thing, and I'll make this part quick, but it's like most colleges have Monday off, right? So if a college coach is coming to watch you play on a Monday in a high school game, it's important to him.
Yes.
That means you're a guy that's high on their radar that you're gonna go watch, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe it's head coach, assistant coach, pitching coach, hitting coach, whatever coach it
It
is,
could
right?
be your volunteer. If
Because
they're
you
there.
also gotta but you also gotta realize they might be sending 5 coaches to 5 different locations on a
Mhm.
Monday just to go watch a team play. So, it is important if a college coach comes and watch you play, but, like, no, hey, that might be their only off day for the week. So, if you don't play on Monday and you play on a Monday in 3 weeks, they might be there because that's their only off day. And most of the time, those guys, like you said, have families, have all these different things that they have to add into the equation of, all right, do I get some family time with my kids before I go deal with essentially the 50 kids that I've adopted on a players? So a lot of it gets lost in that. And I'm like, it's okay if they don't come watch you. Okay. But when you're in front of them this summer, it's like, hey, that kid was in contact with me. That kid's a really good player. That's when you got to do something about it. But I think there's value in both. I don't think there's like a, hey, you need to get seen here or you need to get seen here.
Yeah. And I just think it's truly based on what the coach can do because it's a season. They got to win games. We talk about it all the time. Their main objective right now, season's in full swing, right? They're like 6 to 8 games in. They're trying to win games. So high school's going to pick up, but then conference play picks up, right? There's so many conflicting things. So it was great. The great point you made is like if a coach is coming to see you on a Monday, because that's always your off day, you're high on the board. And we've touched on that before. There's board guys and then there's above the board guys, right? They're gonna, if they want you, they're gonna come see you pitch or play. But if they don't, it's no big deal because they're gonna have an opportunity to see you play in the summer. Just take New England, for example. There's a zillion complexes now and there's a zillion events. There's coaches from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania that are gonna come take this drive to come see you play because then they can go see other people play. So don't get disgruntled if they don't come and see you play because they have a lot going on and there's a lot of things at stake when it comes to their jobs and their winning and their family and everything like that.
All right. Moving on to number 7 is how to contact college baseball coaches. It
So I'm
Go
just
ahead.
going to ask, is this is broader? Is this just open or is this like in the season type situation?
I think this is just kinda like the major part of recruiting, so, like, your daily outreach, right? Like
Gotcha.
emails, Twitter, whatever else phone, text message, or whatever else you kinda
I'm
use.
shocked this is 7. I thought this would be higher because
Correct.
it is hard. And I think it's an overthinking process of if you DM a coach on Twitter, right? We use Moose as an example. He said he hates emails, but he loves the Twitter DMs. It's like for me, when I was getting recruited, if I DM'd the coach, I thought that was very informal, right? It was always email or phone call. I even thought a text message was informal. So it's crazy to see how things have changed and social media has adopted it, but it's really just a case to case, coach to coach basis is, hey, coach doesn't use email. He doesn't like it, but he loves Twitter DMs, right? It's all based on numerous things. But for me as an athlete, I would 100% nowadays probably overthink that a coach doesn't use it. He doesn't respond to me, anything like that. So I'm shocked this is only number 7. I thought this was going to be a top 3 question.
So the way I look at it, right, and I'll go off kind of the email standpoint because you already touched on, like, Twitter and all that, but it's like, there is no perfect email. Like, every coach is different. So for, like, our guys, I kinda tell them essentially, like, address the coach, right, to start the email. Introduce yourself of where you go to high school, height, weight, maybe some metrics in there, kinda just to freshen it up, right? And then after that, it's like a lot of coaches are smart enough to understand, like, if you wrote it or if ChatGPT wrote it. And that's okay. Like, I have plenty of kids that I coach now that are probably smarter than me, right? Like, put them in a classroom, they're way smarter than I am. But it's like you have those kids, and those are the kids that are looking to go to Ivy schools and NESCACs and all those schools, right? And that's how they talk.
Hmm.
So it's like, know your differences of like how you write your email. And then in that, kind of explain yourself, like what you're looking for in a school, what you like about their school, what maybe, hey, I know you guys got a road trip here on X date. Maybe I'm gonna come and see what you guys like, watch you guys play or something. Kind of just fill in some stuff, and then kind of in the bottom, instead of for our guys, I like to just send the Twitter link because it's easier to organize all your video. And I
Mhm.
think there's nothing against like making a highlight film essentially of that and putting it into it. Sometimes it gets lost in translation though, because that file ends up being too big, corrupts that message, and then that coach doesn't see that message
Or could get sent to junk.
or that too, right? So I think just adding kind of your Twitter down at the bottom kind of helps a lot of guys because, hey, maybe you'll get a follow. Maybe you won't. Maybe he's just watching you all the way, all along. Like PA said, right? He goes, I don't have Twitter. I don't use it at SNU. And he goes, if I really want to look at a guy, I'll have one of our other coaches give me their Twitter and I'll go look at him. But I don't like go on there to look at guys. So like even when you don't think they're watching you, they're watching you.
They're watching you.
So I think it's really important, like be yourself when you're writing these emails and like even with captions on X, right? I tell the kids all the time, I'm like, don't just say good swings today or great hitting session. Like, say what you're trying to do. Like, hey, I was working backside off the machine, or hey, I've been getting beat by curveballs lately, so I did it. I did all curveballs off the machine today. Like, explain yourself so it sounds like you're getting your point across of what you're doing. Because if you just post a video and say good swings today, yeah, they're going to watch the video, but they're going to be like, what did this kid accomplish today? Because when you go to practice on that first day of college, you're not going to be sitting there saying, oh, good swings today. You're going to go home to your dorm and be like, what did I just learn? I learned 812 different things about BP
Mhm.
and how college practices ran.
And another thing to go off of that is be you. Coaches are very good at reading kids. They that's their job. They read 100 different body languages every single day. Don't try to be something you're not. So if you're that smart kid who writes that email and it makes a lot of sense and you're trying to go to those Ivy Leagues, all that's fine. But if you're not someone who's that great at education and you write a really bad email, it's okay. That's you. No coach wants someone faking them to be something else, right? Like if you write an email that you put but and like and if and a lot of those in there, that's just how you are. Don't try to change yourself. And going off to the X stuff, like I hate the good day today, backside, working backside. It's like that's a trigger word, right? Do you even know what you're trying to explain? You're just putting words there to make you sound like you know what you're talking about. And people and coaches will eat that up because they've done it for a living. So just be you. Nobody wants something that they're not. So if you're trying to strive to be something different, that's different. But if you're just trying because, hey, this kid got an email back from a coach because it sounded good, don't just try to be like him because you're not him. You're your own person. So be your own self. And it's a more comfortability tactic of the coach would be like, oh, this kid's his own self and he expresses it and he's okay with it. Right. And that's the confidence and the ability to be and to own what you're doing. So don't try to be someone you're not because there is no perfect email. We've stated it. No email is going to 100% get you into Duke. Moose isn't going to recruit you 100% because of an email. Coach Ham at Yale isn't going to 100% recruit you because of an email. It's not how it works.
All right. Moving on to number 6. Perfect game and perfect game showcases worth it for recruiting. I think obviously I haven't been in a ton of perfect game now,
Yeah, neither have I.
but I think obviously a lot of our teams have played in it through the younger divisions moving up. I think perfect game showcases, I'll touch on that part, is I think they're absolutely worth it if you're going to rank in their systems, right? Like we use Caden, for example. He was tied for third in 2027s with exit velo at their national showcase. So if you're going to go up there and put up triple digits and get your name on a leaderboard, and maybe that gets you some follow, who knows? Because there's no real rhyme or reason on why you get a follow from somebody, right? But hey, maybe you get seen because of that. So I think if you're going to go up there put numbers, like if you're a guy 6'2", 150 and you're out there pumping 94, maybe it's worth it. But I don't think there's a definite value in like, hey,
Even if you're 88,
right.
like even if you're 85, 86, and I know you just threw it out there because you always take the tall, lanky kid, right? But like coach is going to be like, oh, He's 85? Okay. Then they're gonna be like then they're gonna be in your system because they're gonna be like, did this kid put on weight? Did he grow to 6'4"? Is he 6'5" even? Right? Like that's the type of thing is like we always talk about you gotta know who you. So if you're just wasting your time to go to these showcases because they popped up on the internet, they're not the right showcases for you.
I think going off of the perfect game standpoint, I think parents need to start doing the research, and I kinda get this all the time of essentially, like, because I coach travel ball, but, like, do your research. There's a reason tournaments are called different things, right? So there's 4 tiers or whatever, and it's like, if you're in the 1 and 2 tier, you're going to good tournaments. But, like, when a parent comes up to me and it's like, "Hey, we have a just a let's just say for us, right? We're playing at the Sportsplex, right? And I can go play 6 teams that got guys that can play college baseball on it, right? Just to pick up a game over the weekend, maybe give our guys a break because of how long the summer is and play a couple of games, maybe give them practice off during the week. The parents will be like, why aren't we in a perfect game tournament that's down the road? Well, you're going to play the same 6 teams you'd play at the Sportsplex. You're going to pay an extortionate amount of money for it. And at the same time, the competition is probably worse there than it is for our local guys here because maybe that those teams have the same concept we do. But I think that has nothing to do with perfect game themselves. It's just know who your competition is and look into it of like, all right, well, we're in this one because of the competition. But maybe this one's just a filler to fill in a weekend. I
Mhm.
don't think it's always like you have to be a perfect game. You have to be a prospect select. You have to be at this. There's a reason up here for us. Diamond Nation has their big weeks. Prospect Select has their big one at NEBC. Perfect Game has the couple of big ones, and I think 2 are NEBC, and I think 1 is New York for the WWBA or New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah.
But I know there is the 17U WWBA at
Yep.
NEBC.
Yep.
But just do your research as the player and the parent of like what you're getting involved with. I think that's more of what leads back into the recruiting part of Perfect Game is you can go to one of those things, right? We'll just call it a tournament and you might get ranked because of one of those. Oh, this kid went 4 for 4, 2 doubles and a bomb and a single, right? Now he's 33rd, maybe he's 34th whenever they reset, or 32nd, sorry. Maybe when the rankings reset, because I think they are every month or something along the lines of that. So I don't know. There's value in all of it. I think it's just kind of working your way through it of like what you're looking for and what you're not looking for.
I think I'll quickly touch on the way I interpreted this. Showcases, if you have to look them up, you shouldn't be going to them. And because the reason I will always say, don't waste your money unless you have interest in the school or the coach has interest in you. And that falls back to, do you have interest in the school? And B would be if parents need to do their research because if you're just going to these events hoping you're going to get ranked or hoping you're going to get seen, you lost the plot. You have no idea what's going on. In perfect game tournaments, right? We'll take tournaments is usually the people who are running the program will put you in the tournaments. So that is totally not a parent issue thing. Again, like you said, a lot of them will ask you, why wasn't I in this one? Why wasn't I in that one? But I'm taking it more the showcase route is like, do your research because you need to understand that if can I play at this school and does the coach even know who I am? Because if they don't, you're just wasting your time and money. And I feel like this happens way more often because parents who might not be fully invested into the sports thing might just one day look up, hey, how do I get my kid recruited? Right. And this pops up and it's showcase recruiting. The AI system will take 800 different events that are happening and it'll post it online and then they'll go from there. Because people do get some random signups every year, every now and then, but it's more if it the way I'm viewing this question, if a parent's using it more to educate themselves, it's a great tool. But if they're using it to spend money for no reason, it will hurt them.
All right. Moving on to number 5 is college baseball scholarships explained. I think
I
they
love this one. This one's great.
I think I'm gonna be kinda very vague with it and short, but it's like families don't realize that scholarships are one limited, right, per institution, depending if you're Power 5 or Power 4, that's a whole different ballgame, right? But everyone will call mid-major to Division 2. They're limited, and most of those scholarships, whatever their school allows them, is split across multiple players. there are certain circumstances, like, let's say you get 6.5 for the school, right? There might be times where that 6.5 for that recruiting class, one guy got a full one, and that might be the number one guy on their list, right?
P.S. It doesn't happen a lot. This
No,
isn't
but
football.
piece o
No, I know. I'm saying this isn't football and basketball where it's all guaranteed. It doesn't happen all too often that you see someone on a full ride.
I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but a full ride there isn't many places that are just giving a full ride of athletic money. It's whatever
That's
you
not
get
football
off
and
and
basketball. It's
right,
just
but it's
not what it
also
is.
whatever you get off of academics and then
Yep.
whatever's left.
Because the
That's
broad term of full scholarship, you think because I play baseball, I'm going to school for free. It's not the case.
I think that's enough of that. It's just like it's you're gonna spend money to play college baseball at the end of the day. It's not a fully funded sport at 90 what percent of the institutions, a lot
Yeah.
of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's obviously play and all those things help, right? Get seen at the right time. Grades
Academic.
are definitely the big one because you can go to a Division 3 and you have a 4.0 because you went to a private school and get 40 grand right off the top.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's better off than going to the D1 and the D2 because you're going to leave with $15,000. Maybe it's just room and board that you have to pay for, right? Or your meal plan or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you might be better off going to the D3 and then either transferring out from there or stay there and you got less loans than 1 year at the other school.
For me, I'll touch on three things real quick. I'm not educated enough to explain how that works. You can confirm or deny this. Division 1 has to be 25%, correct?
I believe it is now. It has to be a 25% minimum.
Okay. D2, it could be any dollars. It could be $100. So if you could get, like we say, quote unquote, full ride. So we'll take it for an example. You could get $13,000. You get $100. And then D3, real simple, $0 exchanged. It's just purely academic money. And then JUCO, like I said, NAIA also not really big up here, so it's not something we kind of touch on a lot.
All right. Number 4 is what college baseball coaches look for. This one's funny to me because every single
Yes.
coach is different.
Yep.
But it's like, I mean, if you had to name things off the top of your head, size, pitchability, speed,
Hustle.
hustle, arm velocity, exit velocity. Like some guys care about exit velo, some guys could absolutely care less.
Well, I'll I'll make it real quick. It's player, person. You put in two categories: your ability and who you are as a person. That's kind of what you get broken down into, and it changes base to base. But I just wanted to put that out there.
I mean, I think that's a really good way of putting it because it's like
Yeah,
you can be a really good player, but a really not good person, and that
a
might
horrible
be
person.
right. And that's not going to work in a dugout, right? With 40
Hmm.
other dudes. So I think
Yeah.
that really hits it home there.
And then
All right.
to just quickly kind of go like person side of things, it's like school, respect how you shake people's hands. Do you hold the door open? Do you help out? You good
Clean up
teammate?
the locker room. Make
Yeah.
sure you're helping with the turtle and putting stuff away
Yeah.
after practice.
The
Those
glue guy is what you'll hear term to term. And then your ability is your speed, your velocity, your contact rate, your fielding ability, those type of things. But you'll see it most likely it will be split into two different types of people.
All right. Number 3 is how good do you need to be to play college baseball?
That kind of goes 3 and 4, I feel like go hand in hand together. But I think my guess is when you look up how good do you need to be, I'm assuming it shows two things. Shows stats of players and then stats of how hard it is to play a college sport. Just kind of like what we touched on the last podcast of like 4% of high school kids play college sports, right? So that's what I'm assuming it goes to it. And then I'm assuming they tag along the how good do I have to be to play Division 1 because everybody wants to play Division 1. But then they don't do the trickle down effect is you still have to be really good to play D2 and really good to even play D3. It was funny. Dad and I were having this conversation about someone. They're pretty good in high school, but they're not even starting at a Division 3. What I told him, and I was like, there's still really good Division 3s that even if you don't play as a freshman, it's okay because you still need to be really good to play. And people don't realize that. Not shocked this question was that high, but I think it might give you a skewed answer of it might just show like Paul Skeens is throwing 102 with breaking the college record of record of punch outs, right? But it could also show you, it could break down how hard it is to play the sport actually on a numbers perspective of how many high school athletes there are that actually play the game and who don't play the game after high school.
See, I wish with this question it would be how good do I need to be to play baseball in college as a freshman? That's the question. Like those are the guys I want. And that doesn't mean you have to be the best player in the field, but like doing the right things, carrying yourself the right way. I think that's more of like the questions that should be asked. And it's like, how good do I need to be to play college baseball? Because I guarantee you some people play on travel teams where every single team, every kid's committed. And there's some guys that play on travel teams where there's four. So it's like, what is the actual like image of what how good you need to be is to play college baseball? There isn't one.
We've seen a ton of kids, right? I know for you, obviously you played Division 1, but we touched on it. I forget what it was. Was the last podcast or with Chamberlain about like your little league team? Like your little league team, like you would think every single one of those kids, because of how good you guys were going to play college baseball. Not many of them played, right?
most of the kids I played with, they played D3 though, because they didn't want to practice and do all that stuff in the fall. They wanted to be normal students, which is totally okay. But that they knew like I was good enough to play and the D3 route was for me. I think our 1 through 9, I think only one other kid played Division 1 or 2.
Which is
And there's
crazy.
nothing but there's nothing against that. It's just they knew what they wanted. And that like goes back to what you try to tell recruits now. Do what you want. If you want to play Division 1 baseball, play Division 1 baseball. But if you're like a middle of the pack guy and you can go to maybe a D2 or a D3 and you don't want baseball year round, but you still want to put in the work when there's time to do it and focus on school and do that, go play at a D3. There's nothing wrong with that.
No problem. Just know what you want and what you're looking for.
This one's funny to me. Number 2 is when do college baseball coaches start recruiting? I think before, I mean, you could commit as a freshman before. Now, right, now there's rules.
Yes and no. You can commit.
Right.
Verbals are, it's just like almost only work in horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Like I can verbally commit, doesn't mean I'm going to stick there, because I always screw it up. Not going to try to screw it up. Your NLI or NIL, however, whichever one, the one you sign in February, until you sign that dotted line, whatever you say don't mean anything. So continue on.
Well, it's funny to me, and I don't mean to take this away from baseball, but it's like I was watching, was it Grant Horvat playing Brad Dahlke in golf? When Brad Dahlke was like, I committed to Oklahoma. I think it was
But yeah,
Oklahoma
he
when he was
committed at
12.
yeah, no, I think it was no, it was Bob. It was
It was
him and Bob.
Bob. Bob does
Yeah.
sports.
Bob
But he
was
go,
just dumbfounded.
but he goes, I committed when I was 12. He goes, I was the same size when I was 12. He goes, I was just the best junior golfer at the time. And it was like, but the funniest part was the story goes on to say, would you have went there? And he goes, that was it. That's where I was going to college no matter what. And I kind of think like the one that pops into my head from I know he's younger than me, but like Blaze Jordan was in 8th grade.
Yeah, he was 13 to Miss
Committed
State.
to Mississippi State, but he's like, I'm going to Mississippi State no matter what. So I think like the benefits of the early recruiting, I think it got worse with the kids that were doing early recruiting as sophomores and like those random 8th graders and freshmen that you saw like, oh, we can get them to Texas or we can get them at Mississippi State or we can get them here. Like those guys are like through and through. Those were the schools they wanted to go to. And then obviously with the portal, things kind of changed. So now it's junior. What is it? September 1 junior year, or is it August 1?
No, is it August 1? I always forget.
I want to say they moved it to August 1.
Yeah, I love those are my favorite. I don't use Instagram and social media itself a lot, but my favorite posts are when the head assistant always posts they put like a loading gif and then it'll be like tomorrow at midnight. That's my favorite thing, because that's when the floodgates open, because that's when you can start throwing all the cash, not actual cash, scholarships, but yeah, some cash as well. But you throw those scholarships, you start throwing them at people and you start getting people to commit. That's truly when recruiting starts, is August 1, September 1.
Whatever it
Forget
is.
midnight. As soon as it hits 12, I've heard some great stories. I think college basketball is my favorite, but like you take like Roy Williams when he was at North Carolina and like Jim Boeheim, like the old guys that were doing it for a long time. They're like I called up a kid at like 2:30 in the morning hoping he committed. and he ended up committing at like 6 a.m. after we went and got breakfast. But like, those are the funny things is like, you go in hoping he commits. Again, they're household names, but like, you don't know what a kid's going to do. He could just wake up one day and you might know who's recruiting him, but one day it just flips on a dime and you get him. But that's my favorite. I went on a tangent a little bit, but when I see the coaches post the loading gif, I'm like, this is recruiting season. That's when it starts.
That
Your
started,
junior year.
right?
And
All right.
I love it. I think it's hysterical.
Last one and number one is how to get recruited for college baseball.
Makes sense. Because isn't that the whole goal, right? Is to at least get recruited?
I think it doesn't matter if you're involved in the game or not, or you're doing what we're doing, or you're coaching, or you're a high school coach, or I don't know, maybe a guidance counselor, right? And we'll throw parents in there, right? But I don't think there's like a sell you 100 series of like, give me X amount of dollars and I'm
There's
going to
no
get your
full
kid into college, right? There's no
There's no
full process,
foolproof plan.
right?
There's not. It's not how it works. It's just like what I said. Like your email to Coach Ham at Yale isn't going to get you recruited to Yale 100% of the time. There's no process. That's why I love recruiting is because we talk. I know my friends do it. We joke all the time. It's like, oh, who'd you get recruited by? And then you tell your recruiting story. And it's like, that one's way different than mine. And it's just funny to compare recruiting because it could be the most random thing. And like Coach King, like hearing some of his recruiting stories are hilarious, right?
I still
And it's
remember
like,
where I was when I told Coach King I wasn't going to Pierce.
yeah, like there's recruiting is the Wild West. Again, there's rules obviously in place, but the stories that you hear are just hysterical. And there's obviously some bad ones where they end up where the kid ends up getting his scholarship removed or something like that. But like 9 times out of 10, they're hilarious because you're like, there's one little piece of like crucial part of the story that makes it hysterical. And you love telling those stories. And coaches, guys, you'll realize all coaches talk. So when they're sitting behind that dugout or sitting behind home plate talking, it's probably about funny recruiting stories because that's what they do. 80% of their job is recruiting. It's hysterical, but there's no foolproof plan on how to get you recruited. It's just the lay of the land. It just happens.
I think for me, and it's like the one piece of advice I can give anybody that's either doing a service of something that we do or a kid that's trying to get help and look for the right answers. When you're going through the process and it's like 99% of recruiting is relationships. I hate to
Mm,
say it in today's world, but it's like
mm,
if we've created a great relationship with somebody, that doesn't mean they're gonna take every kid we give them, right? But they're gonna give that kid an opportunity to either play in front of them, come watch them in a game. Hey, maybe they tune into a live stream of a game changer game because I know game changers trying to work on something along the lines of that. But they'll at least do their due diligence as a relationship that we've built with them and give our guys the time of day, which in my eyes is more valuable because that guy, hey, you could really want to go to Assumption, right? And Rocco could watch you play, but he could say, hey, I really don't need another first baseman, but he could talk to somebody maybe down the road that's a D3 that he's been friends with for years and say, hey, I got a guy for you. And you probably
mm.
have no idea who this is. So just because the relationships, people that are helping you, that doesn't mean the college coach doesn't have relationships with somebody else to give them the good word that they found a guy, hey, not for them, but maybe for another school. So they're helping you as much as you're helping yourself in this recruiting process.
I will say for us in this realm of what we do where we help kids get into college, I think it's okay to have an ego. And what I mean is I don't mean actually an ego where you flaunting yourself. It's like if you have relationships, let the kids know you have relationships. Like I was coaching this summer and kids would ask me, hey, do you know the coach here? And I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I played against him. I knew him. He coached against me when I was a player. And then I'll be like, yeah, if I think you're that type of player, I'll absolutely run it up the chain and be like, hey, got a guy for you. Might be your guy, might not be. Hey, and the most respectful thing that we can do is that coach going, hey, thanks for giving me that guy because potentially it works out great. You go to your dream school. Worst comes to worst, it doesn't work out. But the coach is like, okay, this is a guy that, hey, he thought was good enough to play for me, right? Like that's all we can do. We can't force people to take you. That's not how this game works because the coach has to want you at the end of the day. all we can do in other services like this and AAU coaches and high school coaches is have relationships where you can reach out to someone confidently and be like, hey, I think this kid might be good for you. Again, if they don't take you, it is what it is. But that's kind of like you said, 99% is relationships. And having that little bit of an ego being like, I know this coach doesn't mean I'm going to get you into the school because I can't get you into the school, but it's, hey, I can potentially build that connection where we might have a chance of getting there. So I think that's a big thing. And I think it goes hand in hand is like kids need to be comfortable asking for help because nobody's just going to help if you don't want it. That's not how it works. So if you're interested in like a Middlebury, right, with Coach Leonard up there, like you're interested in your coach, if your coach doesn't know that you want to go there, how can he help you? Right? Recruiting it's a twofold thing, but like I think there's three pathways and it starts with the player wanting to go to that school. The middleman is us, and it's us facilitating a relationship to someone that we either played against, we know, we coached against, anything like that. And then we send it up the food chain and then they respond back, maybe get them on campus, maybe get them that camp invite or, hey, great, they were in the area and they get to come watch your kid play. If they don't work out, we tried. That's all you can ask for when it comes to recruiting. You can't force recruiting because that's not how it works. We just touched on it a little bit ago. Like relationships is the only thing that matter. It's you can't create something if it's not going to work. So that's why, like I said, I went on a little bit of a tangent, but having that ego of, hey, I know this coach. Okay, great. This kid wants to go there. Great. Use your relationships. Don't just say you know the coach to know the coach. Like if you can actually genuinely help a kid, that should be your goal. So if you know someone and they want to go there, give them a phone call, shoot them a text and be like, hey, I got a kid for you. Use what you got. And I think it's a twofold thing, and it's both the people helping and it's both the kids. But they have to connect in some sort of way to help the kid get recruited.
I think that there's one piece of advice I can kind of give off of that, and like before we end here, but it's athletes, you need to realize that maybe you don't work with us, and maybe, hey, I know somebody that you're really trying to get into a school for, and I might send you up there. But like as the athlete, you need to understand that you're representing us
Mm-hmm.
as well as yourself at these events.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gets lost because it's like maybe you're the best player on my summer team, right? Or maybe you don't even play for me and I'm just helping you with recruiting. But you go up there and you act totally different. You get an attitude, you kind of strut your stuff around and you kind of just like wasting space essentially at the showcase because you're not doing well. That's not only a bad image on you, that's a bad image on us. So the next time we try to send somebody there, it's not saying it's going to cancel it out, but it's going to leave a bad taste in that coach's mouth of like, all right, you sent this guy, like maybe you got the next four more like that. When maybe, hey, maybe it was just one bad in the bunch, right? It does happen. And I think that's kind of like building the relationships is important because if you send them one bad one and nine good ones, they're never going to say a word. But if you continue to send bad energy, bad energy, bad energy, that school's probably not going to talk to either anyone from your high school anymore or us. So I think that's a valuable piece of information when you're going into these things. And that doesn't mean with us. That means with anybody that is representing you and helping you connect to that school.
And I will say, if you're that one bad egg, they're going to remember you. And it's not a good thing that they remember you.
You're gonna be the person that they're talking about at these recruiting events.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything else, Pete?
No rapid fire.
No end in rapid
dis-
fire today.
I'm disappointed. But I think this is good because recruiting, I think it's funny. Again, like I grew up in the middle age where like we had old recruiting, but social media started to gain some weight. But I think recruiting is the most important thing everyone cares about right now, right? Outside of obviously playing, but I think everybody wants to do the recruiting. They feel like force it down their throats. It's like, I need to get recruited. I need to get recruited. I need to get recruited. It's like 10 years ago, it was just go have fun with your buddies. Now it's if I don't
It
get
was go play
recruited.
baseball, and then if I get recruited, that's the bonus.
And then now it's if I don't get recruited, I hate this sport. I never want to play it again. So it's just crazy to see how the times have changed.
All right, that's a wrap on episode 25.